welcome to another masterclass session. Thank you very much, our guest speaker. We sincerely apologize. We sincerely apologize for kickstarting much later than expected. I know you had joined the call before the time scheduled for you, 8 p.m. I think you joined about 7:47 or so. For one reason or the other, probably the network, there was a glitch. So we apologize for that. We appreciate the fact that you tried every other means to get into this session. Thank you very much, sir, for that. Thank you very much. Without wasting much time, I would start by introducing who our guest speaker is. But before I do that, I would appreciate if the numbers here are not encouraging. I would appreciate if we bombard the main house with messages stating that we've started this session so that others can join, and the time, effort our guest speaker has put in place to impact and educate us would not be a waste. So please, I would appreciate that everyone drops a message in the main house so that people can join in. I would appreciate that everyone drops a message in the main house so that people can join in. Thank you very much. While that is being done, I'll just read through the profile of our guest speaker. His name is Mr. Daniel. I'm afraid to pronounce his surname, or it's Ekele. I don't know if it's Ekele or Ekele. I hope I pronounced one of them right, or I got one of them right. He's a wellness and nutrition researcher, a therapist, a coach, a consultant, and a sought-after conference speaker. He has taught personal health management on TV and radio programs and across various platforms. One of such platforms is our platform, and we appreciate him. He's a leading voice in the sphere of wellness, nutrition, and natural health, and is known for his work in the field of natural health, where he constantly researches, practices, and promotes natural health alternatives in preventive and curative health management. His thoughts, which are easy to understand and apply, remain remarkably relevant in our currently health-conscious society. Mr. Daniel is the author of Living a Disease-Free Life, and also has co-authored some other wellness books. To name a few: Sickness Free, Reversing Depression Naturally, Causes and Cure of Chronic Diseases, Reverse Any Disease and Recover Your Health Through Nutrition, as well as Restore Your Health Through Detoxification. Mr. Daniel is the founder of Frontline Solution Point, which is established to provide bodily, which is mental, emotional, career, relationship, and leadership wellness. He's happily married to his lovely wife, and they are blessed with 2 children. Mr. Daniel has a presentation which he's going to run through with us. He sent in his presentation, even though I did a bit of rework in terms of the outlook, the look and feel of the presentation. So, Mr. Daniel, don't be surprised. Wondering, is this your presentation or someone else's presentation? It is actually your own presentation. You just did a bit of modification in terms of the design and the layout, so it's consistent with our brand. I hope that's acceptable by you, sir. Mr. Daniel, are you there?
Oh, yeah, very well.
All right.
I really appreciate that.
All right, sir. So I'll be sharing my screen now, and then I will hand over the mic to you. Let me know when you can see my screen, and then we can kickstart. Thank you very much. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
I
yeah.
not see the presentation yet. I can only see your picture.
Or you can see my
What?
presentation. No, you can scroll up. I don't know if you're using your phone, just scroll up, just swipe up on the screen. You might probably will see it. Um,
Okay.
can you see it now? I
Um,
scroll up on your phone. I know you can see my
okay.
picture, but
I'm
scroll
seeing
down. Just scroll down.
okay. I'm seeing wellness and work-life balance. Okay,
Have you seen it?
by Daniel Ekele. Okay, I've
Okay.
seen it.
Okay, it's Ekele. Okay, thank you for helping me out. It's
Yes,
Ekele.
Ekele.
All right. All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I will hand over the mic to you, and please take us on a journey. Thank you, sir.
All, all right. All right. Good evening, brothers and sisters. I want to appreciate you for this great honor to talk to great people, godly people, and I do not want to take this for granted. I really appreciate this a great deal. I believe strongly we are believers, so you permit me to begin with an opening prayer. Yeah, so when I'm in the midst of believers, of course, it's good I start with an opening prayer. Father, we want to say thank you for this evening. Thank you for your children, for sustaining us, for keeping us healthy and alive. We do not take this for granted. Lord, we ask that tonight, as we look into the principles that govern wellness and work-life balance, help us with the wisdom to intentionally put to practice what we shall be learning tonight in the name of Jesus. For as many who are sick, Lord, open their eyes to discover what it requires to recover from sickness. For as many who are healthy, open our eyes to see what it requires to sustain good health. And to the end, the glory shall be yours in Jesus' name. In Jesus'
Amen.
mighty name. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. Um, I will try also not to be boxed by the presentation slide. It's because you requested for it. I can actually do without it, but again, it helps to guide. There are some things I'll be saying that are not on the slide, but the slide I will try to stick to it in the course of explaining. So tonight I'll be talking on wellness and then work-life balance. Wellness and work-life balance. In the course of researching over a decade now into wellness and nutrition, I've come to realize that most of the wellness principles that have been taught, that have been researched into, they are traceable to the Bible. In fact, when I look into the book of Genesis, chapter 1, chapter 2, up to chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 9, I've come to realize that from the beginning, God actually gave humanity a template to follow, which I'm going to show us this night. And anyone who violates these templates will somehow have to pay for it. In fact, most of the sicknesses and health challenges we have now is as a result of the violation of the health templates God gave in the beginning. So that is why I just felt, let me make reference to scripture. I saw 4 things God introduced in Genesis. I may have to read through some of them briefly for us to see. 4 striking things God introduced to enhance the wellness of humanity. I say, what a God. Number 1, God introduced what I call nutrition in Genesis 1. Introduced food, the food, the kind of food that man should eat was introduced in Genesis. Number 2, I also saw that God introduced what I call movement. Contemporary time is called exercise. I will read, you will see what I mean. He created moving creatures, and I saw that repeatedly. Moving creatures that are moving. So we are moving creatures. But as a result of lifestyle adjustment, modification, and what have you, we recondition ourselves into a sedentary creature. And that has caused humanity a lot of health challenge. Human beings, we are not sedentary by design, by nature. We are moving. So whatever keeps you in a place for 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours daily in the name of a job, and you hardly can move, it then means that over a period of time you begin to have health challenge, because by design you are not a sedentary creature. Come to look at it, everything within your system is designed to move. Your blood circulate, that is movement. Your lymphatic fluid, it moves. The waste product from your body, it moves. Your sweat, your urine, the poo, they all move. Even when you are sitting, something is moving. The air, carbon dioxide coming out, oxygen going in. God built movement into us. So I saw movement in Genesis 1. Number 3, I saw water. If you get to chapter 2 of Genesis, you talk about the river, a river that flows from the garden into Eden and then divide into 4. And the Bible gave their name, there are 4. That is water, really. That is the purest kind of water. In our time, we talk about spring water. You must have heard about alkaline water. That is highly oxygenized, alkalized water that God created for humanity. And then number 4, God created rest. And the Bible says on the 7th day, God rested from all his work. So these 4 things, movement, which is exercise, nutrition, which is food, water, yes, which is life sustaining, and then rest. Anyone who fails to deploy these 4 things over a period of time, the person will be sick. I want to believe that nobody on this platform that can stay for 40 days, 3 months without food. You can't really do that. You need food. And I don't think there's anybody here too that can live without water. You can't do that. And I also want to be, there's nobody on this platform that can also do without rest. You do that, you pay dearly for it. Now, that is forming the background, the foundation on which I'll be teaching tonight. These 4, among other things I'll mention, they form the fulcrum, they form the foundation. Every other health principle is built on these 4. Every other health principle is built on these 4. And then at what point did man miss it, really? God gave us food, plant-based food. If you read that place, time will fail me to begin to rule out all of those stuff. But if you wouldn't mind, permit me to read 1 or 2 scripture. Genesis chapter 1, verse 21. I'll read from the New King James Version. So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves. You can see again, living things that moves, with which the water abounded according to their kind, and every winged bird according to his kind. And God saw that it was good. That is the New King James Version. The New English translation says, God created the great sea creature and every living and moving thing. Every living and moving thing. The Amplified translation captures it this way: God created the great sea monster and every living creature that moves. Now that is that helps us to establish the fact that movement, we can't do without it. Modern day English use the word exercise. In exercise, you move. It's either you are exhibiting locomotive movement or non-locomotive movement. Non-locomotive in one spot, but you are moving, you are stretching, But locomotive movement, you move from one place to another. Okay, so Genesis 1:28 now capture this. New King James Version. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And then in Genesis 9, verse 2 to 3, New King James translation, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and on every bird of the air, and all that move on the earth, on all that move on the earth. Verse 3, every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. So you can see emphasis again on movement. Now, Acts chapter 17, verse 28 also, lend his voice to, and for in him we live and move and have our being. In him we live and move and have our being. The New English translation puts it this way: for in him we live and move about. In him we live and move about. Easy translation use the word. Someone said this: because God gives us life, we are alive. Because of him, we can move about. We can move. So the bottom, what I'm trying to establish here is the fact that we are not created to be sedentary. We are not. We are not created to be sedentary. So that is movement, which is exercise. Now, why do you need to move? Why do you really need to move? Every living creature is a moving creature. And that's why they taught us while we were in school, primary, secondary, one of the characteristics of living thing is movement. So every living creature is a moving creature. Now, why do you need to move? If you are not moving, you are dying. If you are not moving, you are dying. If you notice, some people, when they sit in one place for long, they begin to have what is called water retention, swollen legs, because they are not moving. Your blood is not circulating well. You begin to feel sluggish. You begin to build unhealthy weight and unhealthy fat. So when you are not moving, you are dying. Movement is life. You cannot have life without movement. You have to move and stretch the cells. When you move and you stretch the cell, you facilitate the delivery of nutrients and also facilitate the removal of toxin from your body. For example, when you walk a distance or you run, you are compelled to breathe faster. Now, in the course of breathing faster, you are eliminating waste. You breathe well. Now, one funny thing about breathing is this: if you want to really know how to really breathe, look at how little babies breathe. They breathe deeply. The rib cage moves well. But as we grow, we tend to learn how to breathe badly. And as such, our breathing becomes shallow. So we are not eliminating enough waste via breathing. But when you move, you run, you exercise, you are compelled to breathe harder. You are eliminating waste. So movement, therefore, is a physical activity that enhances or maintains fitness and overall wellness. So movement, I'm sticking to the word movement. Technical word exercise, it is performed for various reasons. For some people, they move or they exercise for weight loss. For some, for weight maintenance. For some, for strength improvement. For some, for muscle development. For some, it is for cardiovascular support, healthy heart, healthy blood pressure, and what have you. Having established that, the second thing I mentioned God introduced in Genesis is food. And there's a scripture that backs that up. Genesis 1:29 to 30. Then God said, listen, I'm reading from the easy translation. I now give you every plant on the earth as your food. I give you every plant that has seed in it. I give you every tree that has fruit with a seed in it. I give them to you for food. Verse 39 says, I give to the animals green plants for their food. It will be food for all the animals on the earth, all the birds in the sky, and all the animals that move along the ground. Everything that has life may eat every kind of green plant. And what God said happened. So God gave us our menu. This is really the original menu God gave to man. In this original menu that God gave to man, if you check very well, there's actually no animal protein. Originally, man wasn't given meat to eat originally. So Adam in the garden, before the fall, there was no record that he ate either fish or he ate any animal, chicken or turkey or what have you. No record. Because the menu God gave him, didn't permit that. That is one. Number two, there was also no record before the fall that Adam and Eve cooked their food. There was no fire. So most of what they ate were taken raw. Of course, I'm not encouraging you to eat raw food. There are certain food you cannot eat raw. I'm only trying to take us back to Genesis. At what point did man miss it and what happened subsequently? So man, before the fall, didn't have the benefit of cooking food. Food was raw. No benefit of eating flesh or animal stuff. That's two. Number three, man in the garden before the fall also didn't have the privilege of taking any animal milk. It wasn't recorded. Now, and then sometimes I say, of all the creatures that God has created, man seemed to be the most confused technically. How do I mean? Now, let me take you one by one. When it comes to milk, I'm not against milk. Of course, milk has its role, Of course, the kind of milk we have now, they've been tampered with anyway. When it comes to the consumption of milk, when any animal is weaned from sucking, goat is weaned from sucking, cow is weaned from sucking the mother's breast, that cow or that goat takes no more milk for the rest of his life. But man, human being, after being weaned from the mom, from sucking, from taking milk, that human being, that man again, is giving the milk of another animal. We are the only one who do that. In the animal kingdom, they are so intelligent that they don't take the milk of another animal and give to their young after being weaned. The milk of cow is actually designed for the cow. That is why the cow looks lanky the way it is, to fast track growth. So when you now begin to introduce this to man, what you have just done is that you have fast tracked the growth of that child. And if you check now, compare now to then, many years ago, the days of our grandfather, our little children now get to puberty very fast. They start seeing their period very fast. Even some of them at age 10, they're already, seeing their first period. Unlike then, 15, 16, that is when a child tends to see her first period. So we are surrounded with things that are fast track our growth. And as that continues, women begin to hit menopause fast, early. Women are now hitting menopause in their 40s. Not all women, some women. In their 40s, at least there was a case that got to me. The woman was 48. Menopause are setting already. At 48. Why? What we are taking, they are fast tracking our growth. So at what point did man really miss it? Now, after man fell, look at what God did. The population kept increasing. In Genesis chapter 6, we're told that God regretted creating man because of the multiplication of sin. And God said he was going to reduce the age of man to 120. Time will fail us to read. I'm just narrating the story, telling you what you already know. And then I asked myself this question: how will God carry out that agenda of pegging the age of man to 120? Interesting. Now, when I read on from chapter 6 of Genesis, God introduced flood, and then humanity wiped up apart from the family of Noah. And then when they came out of the ark, look at what God did. God now permitted man to eat what he didn't introduce to man in Genesis 1. He now told man in chapter 9 that in addition, Genesis chapter 9, to the plant-based food I've given you, you are now permitted to eat flesh, to eat meat. After then, if you keep on reading, chapter 10, chapter 11, the attention of scripture came on Abraham. Before then, man was living up to 500 years, 600 years, 700 years. When the attention came on Abraham, Abraham did not live up to, I don't think Abraham lived up to 200 years. The age of man began to crash. Research have shown that creatures that eat flesh actually have a short lifespan compared to creatures that eat plant-based food. So God introduced that as a way to fulfill what he has said, that the age of man will have to crash. So I tell people, who am I now to not tell you not to eat me? I'm not the one that introduced it. God introduced it, and what have you. I'm just building the foundation of how man really missed it. At that point, the age of man began to drop. Abraham, then Isaac. Abraham was 175 years. He was gone. Isaac was, I think, 180. Jacob was 140 something or so, and then Joseph was 110. On and on like that till our time now. Anybody who lives up to 70 years will celebrate, really. You have really tried. But in the beginning, it was not so. In the beginning, it was not so. So I'll be talking more on food. I may not be able to talk extensively on all, but I'll focus on food and some other ones that I feel you will really need. So when it comes to food, so what do we do now as it relates to food? Should we now avoid all meat? No, I'm not saying that. But what do we do? That's what I'll be sharing with us. If you look at your slide now, I think I can get back to the slide. The first one, I love what my brother did here. I like the way you rework this. I wouldn't mind at the end of the session if you can resend it to me. This is looking fantastic. Looking more beautiful than what I did. Wow, thank you. I really appreciate
no
this.
problem, sir.
Yeah. All right. So I'm introducing what I call Defender's Lifestyle. It's an acronym, yes. The Defender's Lifestyle is an acronym that will help us understand the concept. Those 4 things I've mentioned, they are captured here. That the first one, which is food. You are what you eat. Now permit me to speak on this briefly before I move to the next slide. You are what you eat. The challenge with food is this: knowing what to eat, knowing when to eat, and knowing how to eat. These 3 things, very key. Number 1, knowing what to eat. Number 2, knowing when to eat. Number 3, knowing how to eat. Anybody who master this act of knowing what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat will actually live a healthy life. I tell you, you will live a healthy life, because food is actually designed to be our medicine, frankly speaking. And I'll be showing us knowing what to eat. What are the kind of food you should embrace? What are the kind of food you should minimize? What are the kind of food you should avoid completely? And then knowing when to eat. Wow. Oh, goodness me. When it comes to knowing when to eat, there are three circles. The human life revolves around 3 circles. But let me begin with knowing what to eat, so that I don't just run back and forth. Let me begin with knowing what to eat. Then when I get to when to eat and how to eat, I'll break it down. So the first thing is knowing what to eat, and then knowing what to avoid. So let me begin with what to avoid. Now, why are we saying you should avoid? If you look at what you have here, I said avoid stroke minimize. Otherwise, somebody will crucify me. Animal protein is number 1 on the list. Now, what kind of animal protein should you avoid? What kind of animal protein should you reduce as you age? It's as you age. As you age. Animal protein, let's take a cross section. Your red meat, your beef, Then we have the white meat, your chicken, your turkey, and what have you, and then your feed, they fall under the white, And then we have your milk, okay? Animal milk, they all fall under your animal protein. Okay. Now, this is what happens from research. Research have shown this. If I consume fish, it takes my body 7 days to handle the entire metabolic process of digestion, elimination, and absorption. 7 days. That's what it takes the body to do, to handle fish. Now, when you eat meat, it takes your body 14 days, 14 days, irrespective of the piece you have taken. It takes your body 14 days to handle the entire metabolic process of digestion, assimilation, absorption, and then elimination. Then your pork, okay, pig meat, it takes your body 28 to 30 days to handle the entire metabolic process. Now, of these three, the one with the least time is your fish. Now anything that stays longer than 1 week in your system will actually become poisonous to your system. What happened to it is this. Now, because it has no fiber, meat actually has no fiber of any kind. In fact, it also has no antioxidants. Meat has zero, all flesh, they have zero antioxidant. Your antioxidant is getting more from your plant-based food. So zero antioxidant, zero fiber. Okay, it has other nutrients. I'm not ruling out that. Meat has other nutrients, fantastic nutrient. No fiber, no antioxidant. Because it has no fiber, okay, so in the course of moving, it moves slowly. As it begins to move slowly, spending more than a week and several days, it begins to decay. It begins to rot. It begins to ferment. And then your body reabsorbs this nonsense back to itself where it wreaks havoc. Now, your colon alone houses 2 to 4 kilograms of waste. Your colon alone. This colon, it houses 2 to 4 kilograms of waste. So this is adding to the load of that waste. Now, what do we do? Because I can't really tell you not to eat meat or eat fish or eat what have you. We now advise people, as you eat any of these, ensure you take them with your vegetable, which is fiber rich. The vegetable now, because vegetable enhances free movement of your bowel. In the course of moving and clearing your bowel, it helps to clear all of this stuff and reduces that time frame of 14 days, 28 to 32 days, and then the 7 days. But most time, when we eat this thing, we hardly take them with vegetable. We hardly. So for this reason, we say minimize. And for this reason, sometimes we say avoid. Now, for people already in their 40, we say replace. If you're already in your 40, I would just advise you, do more of your fish, or you are close to your 40. Do more of your fish, and then do more of your white meat, not the red meat. And you are doing the white, or maybe the chicken turkey. If you can get the organic, that would be fantastic. And do that cautiously. And then at any point you are eating that with any food, ensure that is vegetable eating alongside this food. So, animal protein, sweet things, all categories of sweet things. Now, when we say sweet things, processed sweet things now, because your fruit is sweet. So I don't tell you, you don't say, oh, can't we take fruit? Your what do you call it? Your soft drink is sweet. Your biscuit sweet. The sweet itself is sweet. The sugar in those stuff, they are actually not healthy for the human body. They are refined sugar. They are not healthy, frankly speaking. For example, if you take like a bottle of soft drink which contain refined sugar, what happens is this: within 30 minutes, your immunity is shut down. Within 30 minutes, your immunity is shut down. Just that you wouldn't know what has happened. Research shows this. Your immunity shut down, and your immunity does not resume activity until after 4 to 5 hours. So your body is struggling to handle that for about 4 to 5 hours. God help you. If there is any communicable disease at that point in time, you are already a candidate. Now, why is it that somebody can be bitten by a mosquito and then he falls sick? Malaria, he gets down with malaria, and then somebody else is bitten by the same mosquito and nothing happens. The difference is just in their immunity. Anytime your immunity is compromised and there is a communicable disease, you are a candidate. One of the things that compromises and weakens our immunity is refined sugar. Number 2, refined sugar also weakens our bone density. The strength of your bone gets weakened. So we say regarding sweet stuff, minimize it. If possible, replace this stuff with other or healthy alternative, if possible. And where it's not possible, if you have been taking 3 or 4 bottles of soft drink in a week, you may need to reduce it to just 1. Otherwise, you are wreaking more havoc to your body system. And the funny thing is this, the effect of this are in the long run. You may not have any feeling, any effect now until 5 years, 10 years down the line. Your bone is getting weaker. Your immunity is getting weaker. So sweet things. White flour, not all white flour are bad. I'm talking about the refined white flour. Any white flour that is packaged with expiry dates is dangerous, really. Is it Semo? Oh, sorry, I'm mentioning brand name. So, ideally, I try not to mention brand name. So your Semo, whether it's Semolina or Semovita, it has an expiry date. Except the one you prepare yourself. You can actually do your white flour yourself, where you grind your cassava flour or your corn and what have you. That is fantastic. But the package one, your pando yam, it has an expiry date. And now, why is it having an expiry date? It has a preservative in it. It has been tampered with. So I like to divide food into 2 categories: food from the farm and food from the factory. The challenge of humanity currently is the fact that we consume more food from the factory than the food we consume from the farm. Food from the factories have expiry date. Food from the factory have been tampered with. So I tell people, of course, you cannot really avoid food from the factory completely. So I tell people, do 20%. If you must eat food from the factory, it should form 20% of your food intake, while 80% of your food consumption should be food from the farm. Your yam is from the farm. Your rice is from the farm. Your beans is from the farm. Your amala is from the farm. Your cassava is from the farm. Your biscuit is from the factory. Soft drink, factory. Your noodles, factory. They are packaged with expiry dates and chemical preservative. So white flour. Okay, then fried food. Oh Jesus, this one is terrible. Fried, anything fried. What happened to it is this. That's what we call what is the name of this? When I remember, I'll mention it. I don't know why it's skipping my mind. But again, let me just list some of them. Anything that is deeply fried. Now, let's use the akara that we are used to. Now, when akara is fried, at the end, look at the oil. What happened? What happened to the color of the oil? It looks dark. That oil has become dangerous. Very, very dangerous. In fact, the substance that is formed as a result of that deep frying is actually carcinogenic. It has a high chance of causing cancer. And then it makes your body to begin to build unhealthy fat. Akara is deeply fried. Your chin-chin, your buns, which other one? Your meat pie. All of this stuff, they are deeply, deeply fried in oil. And then that generates what is called trans fat. Trans fat is the word I was trying to recall. Trans fat. The healthy oil has become an unhealthy oil, converted to trans fat. The fat there has been converted to trans fat, which is not healthy for the human body. Junk food, all categories of junk food. The list is actually endless. Junk. Most of your fast food are junk. That's why it's called fast food. Or called alcohol. I want to believe we are believers. We don't take alcohol. Though some churches, they see nothing wrong in it, but I really pity people. They will look for scripture to justify why they must drink. My goodness. Something that will destroy your health. You are looking for a scripture to justify it. It's terrible, really. Really, really terrible. Caffeine. Oh, yes. Caffeinated drink, your Nescafe and what have you. Yes, it will keep you mentally sharp and mentally alert, but it's actually not good for your heart. Your heart rate will increase, your blood pressure over time begin to increase as you abuse it progressively and continuously. And then hard drugs. I want to believe we don't take hard drugs there. So next slide. Okay, food to embrace. Yes, grains. Your grain, categories of grain, your rice, that brown rice, that you have heard of this of other rice, your millets, your corn or your maize, sorghum, all categories of grain. Your seed, flax seed, sesame seed, pumpkin seed, flax seed, sunflower seed. These are healthy stuff. Okay, rice here is a type of grain. Okay, lentils and your beans, your potato, healthy carbohydrates. Yes, yeah. Some of these, your grains and your seed, they actually fall under your healthy carbohydrate. Then your nuts, your groundnuts, your cashew nuts, your walnuts, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts. Just make do with the nut you can find in your environment. So don't bother yourself with the Brazil nut and the hazelnut. At least you can find cashew nut, groundnuts, and walnuts in your environment. These are healthy stuff. Vegetables. When it comes to vegetables, there are 3 categories of vegetable. Technically 4, but again, I'm narrowing down to 3. We have what is called the leafy vegetable. All categories of leafy vegetable, your fluted pumpkin leaf, which you call ugu, your jute leaf, which you call ewedu, your spinach. Technically, among the Yoruba, there are 3 categories of spinach. We have the amunu tutu, which is a type of spinach. We have the fortetes, a type of spinach. And then which other one again do we even have? We have the shoko yokoto, is a type of spinach. Okay, that foreign one is actually the amunu tutu. It's a leafy vegetable. Your water leaf is a leafy vegetable. Your scent leaf is a leafy vegetable. Now, what other categories of vegetable do we have? We have the root vegetable, your carrot, your beetroot, your ginger, your garlic. These are root vegetables. Then we now have the fruit vegetable. Why do we call them fruit vegetable? They are low sugar. Your cucumber, your garden egg, your avocado, and then your okra. It's actually called okra. We know it as okra. If you check your dictionary, there's no such word as okra. O-K-R-O. It's actually okra. Okay, so I have to call it the way we know it, so you don't think I'm making a mistake. Okra. Your okra is a fruit vegetable, and all categories of peppers, your tomato, they are all fruit vegetables. Now, how do you deploy this? I'm coming to when to eat. So let me not run ahead of myself. I'm still running. Then water falls under this. I have to add water here under food so as not to make water stand alone. 3 liters of water, alkalized water. When we say alkalized water, water whose pH is not less than 7. The sad part of this in Nigeria is that most of our water are actually acidic. The regulating body are not really helping. They are not really helping out. I remember one of I was in a training many years ago, and one water expert was there. He came. I think he moved from UK. Is it US or UK to Nigeria to establish water producing factory, and then he came with the standard they have over there, and then he tested most of our water here, and they failed the test. Out of concern, he went to NAFDAC office to draw their attention to this. And what they told him was that they don't have enough manpower to go around to really inspect the quality of our water. That is dangerous. Really, really dangerous. So after then, I took the pH tester, I was able to get, and I tested a number of water. I was shocked. Most of the water I tested failed the test. Most of them, all the sachet water I've ever tested that we're calling pure water, they failed the test. Only few of the bottled water, few of them, very few, pass the test. The rest, they fail the test. Not that the waters are not dirty, but their pH, the pH are not healthy. Anything below 7, 6, 5, the lower the number, the lower the pH, the more acidic and dangerous that water is to the human body. So it's a call for concern, really. But there are a couple of water that really meet up with the test. And because I'm teaching, I may need to mention some of that, so some of us can begin to take informed decision. For those of us in Lagos, those outside Lagos, I don't know if you have cascade water where you are. In Lagos, we have what is called cascade water. When we tested that, cascade water passed the test. I remember ever also passing the test, except for ones that ever failed, and I learned it because they franchise. Apart from that, all the ever water I've ever tested passed the test. Swan water, I don't know if it's still available. It passed the test. These are the few ones that pass the test that I've tested. I'm not saying all the waters are bad. Then we have what is called this spring water they call what is the name again? When I remember, I will mention it. I don't know if it's available in outside Lagos, but we have that in Lagos. It's a spring water with a pH of 7 point something or so. So the idea here is that for you to take water that is alkaline with a pH that is not less than 7. So that's just the idea here. 3 liters. Why are we saying 3 liters? At least 2 to 3 liters, or 2.5 to 3 liters is ideal. The reason is this: your kidney, uses about 1.5 liter. Yes, in the course of carrying out its operation of filtration, it uses up to about 1.5 liters of water. It then means that the volume of water you take in a day must not be less than 1.5 liter. 1.5 liter is equivalent to your big ever bottle water. That big ever bottle water, which is 1.5. You shouldn't take less than that in a day. It can be more. Anything less than that, you are actually under drinking water. And that is not healthy. Okay, so that is that. So other modification when it comes to food, eat only twice daily. As you grow up, really, you shouldn't be eating 3 times. The idea of 3 square meal does not exist technically. I don't know where we got that concept from. We're wrongly taught that your meal has to be 3 square meal. When the word square, when you say 3 square, 3 raised to power 2, that is the way I understand square. 3 raised to power 2 is 3 times 3, which is 9. Are you saying we should eat 9 times? If the idea is to eat 3 times a day, they should look for another name for it. But ideally, 2 times. And I found that in scripture, eating twice. Case 1, when Elijah, was it Elijah? Yeah, he was running away from Jezebel. Jezebel threatened to kill him. He ran away, took off, and then he was saying, God, kill me, take my life. And I was, this man, you want to die, and you didn't wait for the one that wants to kill you. You are telling God to kill you. Now, where he got to, an angel brought food to him to eat in the morning and in the evening, twice. Another case study was when there was famine. The same Elijah, the Lord told him to go to the brook of Kerit, the Kerit brook. Then ravens were bringing food to him in the morning and in the evening, twice. Now, when you do that, you are giving your digestive system room to do its work well. Otherwise, as you load your body with food, your body will just be working tirelessly, trying to process several things. So eat only twice daily. Morning, that 10 a.m., you can choose what is conducive and convenient for you. Yours may not be 10 a.m., okay? Yes. And then between 6 and 7 p.m., you should be done with your last meal of the day. Anything, worst case scenario, 8 p.m. Anything after 8 p.m., really, our body struggles to handle cooked food. This is what happened. Between 4 a.m. and 12 noon, your body is in a detoxification phase. 4 a.m. and 12 noon. It then means that whatever you will take between 4 a.m. and 12 noon should be what will enable your body to eliminate the waste. That is the time we go to pool in the morning. At least anything between 4 a.m. and 12 noon, if you have not gone to pool, something is wrong. So your food shouldn't be heavy. Your food should be light. Smoothies are encouraged within that window of time. Salad encouraged. Vegetable juice and what have you, natural juice, not the processed one, they are encouraged within that window of time. And if you must eat any cooked food, shouldn't be heavy food. Then between 12 noon and 8 p.m., your body switches into another mood, called the digestive. That is when your body can really break down heavy food. Your swallow and your heavy food can be consumed within that window of time. So if you notice, your lunch and your dinner falls within that range of time. Now, between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m., your body switches into regenerative mode. That is when your body begin to heal, begin to utilize what you have eaten in the day. The digestive enzymes slow down. So if you still load your system with cook and heavy food, what you have just done to your body is that you have slowed down the effectiveness and the efficiency of your body system when it comes to healing, repairing, and helping your body get over any ailment or defect. So that is that. So that brings me to knowing when to eat. Knowing when to eat. So what I've just done now is just to explain, when to eat. Anything after 8 p.m., worst case scenario, no solid food, heavy food, ideally, should get into our system. But again, the challenge is the nature of our work, really. Some will tell you, don't get home until 9 p.m., 10 p.m. So what do we do? If that is the case, if you must eat, whatever you eat at that late hour must be light and must be little. Must be light, must be little. If possible, if you can eat what can be eaten raw, that will be perfect, because that will not need to depend on any digestive enzyme. Raw food has its own enzyme which help to break down the food. Your banana and whatever can be eaten raw, salad and what have you, that is fantastic. All right. So knowing what to eat, knowing when to eat, and then knowing how to eat. Now the knowing how to eat, again, this is another serious aspect of when it comes to food combination. What I'm about to say is the ideal thing, but again, most time is not realistic for a lot of people when it comes to food combination. For example, now I want to believe we all did we were taught this in secondary school when I was in GSS 2 or GSS 3. They taught us acid, base, and salt. I'll never forget. But I never knew that it's applicable to even the way food is broken down in the body. And we are told that if you want to know that when acid and base combine, what happens? There is a neutralization that takes place. Neutralization. So when you combine acid and base, another word for base is alkaline. So when alkalinity and acidity comes together, neutralization takes place. Now, how does that affect food combination? For example, now your carbohydrate is digested by an alkaline enzyme. Your carbohydrate is broken down by an alkaline enzyme. Your protein, particularly animal protein, is broken down by an acidic enzyme. It then means that these two foods should not come together at the same time. Otherwise, neutralization will take place. It's not that the food will not get digested, it will stay longer than normal. For example, a plate of rice with a piece of meat at the same time. The meat is animal protein. It will be broken down by an acidic enzyme. Your rice, which is carbohydrate, will be broken down by an alkaline enzyme. So when the alkaline and the acidity comes together, they cancel out. So the food sits there for long. This is tough. It's really, really tough. Somebody now say, are you saying we should do? And I'm not saying you shouldn't eat your fish and eat your meat. I'm only saying establishing how we combine food wrongly. And the beauty is that your animal protein can go with vegetable, at the same time. Nothing will cancel out. But going with carbohydrate at the same time, it will stay for a longer time before it gets digested. So how do we do this, which is tough? Now, it's either you eat your carbohydrate first or you eat your animal protein first. So if it's animal protein I'm eating first, after like 2 hours, I can eat my carbohydrate. If it is the carbohydrate I'm eating first, after like an hour, I can eat my animal protein. This is tough, really. And I know it may not be realistic for a lot of people. So how do we manage this? It then means that for this to be well managed, ensure that when you are eating this kind of combination, you add vegetable to whatever you are eating. At least it will help reduce the length of time that thing will stay within your body system. All right. So other food modification, a lot of fiber, some of these fiber I've written here you may not be familiar with the xylem moss. Let me just create our own local fiber for you. That will help you, because these ones they are looking for it. All your green leafy vegetables are fiber rich. And then any vegetable that is slimy, that is superb. So a super fiber. Your ewedu is slimy. That is a powerful fiber. Your okra is slimy. That is a powerful fiber. And all categories of vegetable. Then it means that when you are cooking your vegetable, don't overcook your vegetable. Otherwise, the purpose of eating that vegetable is defeated. Vegetables should be slightly cooked, and then for those who have blender, I advise you blend them if possible. Sometimes make the effort to blend your cabbage, blend your carrots, combine cabbage, carrots, ginger, cucumber, blend, as smoothie and take. Fantastic combination, fantastic fiber. Now what you call a tiger nut, when tiger nut is blended and filtered, that chaff you can dry. That is a powerful fiber that can be combined with your amala when you are cooking your amala. That is a fantastic fiber. Coconut, the same thing. When you make your coconut milk, the chaff from it, you can actually dry it, and then when you are making any of your swallow, you can combine that. That gives you fantastic fiber. So you can see coconut chaff here, tiger nut chaff here. That is what I mean by that. Even your rice chaff, people make rice milk. When you filter, what you have, you dry, it's a fiber on it. So you can combine it with any of your swallow. And then drink vegetable smoothie, which I've mentioned, and then make your swallow from this. This is strange to a lot of us. How can I make swallow from cucumber, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, garden egg, and all of this? Now, it's very easy. When you blend them, you filter, you sieve. So what you have is a fiber. You can actually combine it with any of your swallow, or you make it like a swallow, or you can combine it with your amala. In the course of making it, it makes it chaffy, and puffy, and that is a fantastic fiber, really. So okay, next slide. Next slide. Okay, so letter E is emotional intelligence, really. Yeah. For wellness, for you to be well and healthy, you need emotional intelligence. For some of us who work in a corporate environment, this is not a strange word, but I will try to break this down. Life is a gift. Let nothing choke your mind. Now, emotional intelligence is just knowing how to manage your emotion, your feeling. You may not have control over people's action and inaction, but you have control over how you react or how you respond. In fact, I tell people in life, learn how to respond, not to react. Learn to respond to life, learn to respond to situation. Don't react to situation. When somebody has the right to provoke you, but how you respond or react is actually within your control. And if you are not able to manage that, the challenge again is this: you are bitter, you are angry. When somebody bottle up anger and bitterness over a period of time, it begins to affect your health, really. Anger in particular has an effect over your I think the liver. It has an effect over your liver. It has an effect over your liver. So now if I can't manage my anger, by reason of people's action and inaction, I'll be at the losing end. I will be at the losing end. And that is really dangerous. So Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Irrespective of the provocation, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Learn to let go. You are going to see that as we get to stress management. Next slide. Positive emotion is what you embrace. Learn to be happy now. Now it's a decision, really. Nobody can make you happy than yourself. So you learn to be happy, learn to show love, learn to forgive. Very, very key. I've also come to learn to discover from research again that people who find it very difficult to forgive, over time they begin to have issue with indigestion. Yeah, it begins to affect the rate at which your food digests because you are bitter. So certain negative hormones are triggered because you have not mastered your emotion. Next slide. Okay. So positive emotion. Okay, next slide. Okay. Now look at this scripture, Proverbs 17:22. A broken, that is a crushed spirit, saps a person's strength. That is the NLT translation. A crushed or a broken spirit, it saps a person's strength. One says he dries the bone. One says it dries your health. You are worried, you are disturbed, your health begins to suffer. But before you know it, your blood pressure begins to rise. Before you know it, you are losing sleep over what the person who has provoked you has gone. The person is not even bothered whether you are angry or not. You are just the one disturbing yourself. You are losing sleep over somebody's insult, and the person is sleeping and possibly snoring. My God. So depression, hatred, anxiety, worry, malice, sorrow, all of these are negative energy. Negative energy. Okay, next slide. Okay, so nature. Nature can also contribute to our well-being. Now, among what are listed there, I will zero in on maybe 2 or 3 of them because of time. Earthing in particular, this is a very powerful therapy. When we say earthing, now earthing, when you are in your house, some people tend to still wear slippers within the house. Learn to walk barefooted when you are within your house. Sit barefooted when you are within your house. Now, the earth there, particularly if the floor is stars or concrete slab, not carpet, not this rubber carpet, as long as not a rubber carpet, okay? Or if it is a sandy place, as long as your bare foot is on it, what happens is this: the earth is naturally loaded with antioxidant. We call it a negative ion. So as your bare foot is on it, what happens is this: your body begin to absorb, taking the negative ion. The negative ion begin to neutralize the positive ion. The positive ions are the free radicals, while your negative ions are the antioxidants. So that begin to neutralize the negative ion, that is the free radical that your body has generated. And what have you. So when you are within your house, sometimes you are in your garden, you have a garden, walk barefooted. People go to the beach, to the seaside, you see them walking barefooted. That place is highly, highly charged with negative ion, which is your antioxidant. Then what would you say of air? You get to a place where there are plants, trees, and then you are taking in fresh air, highly oxygenized air. Contribute to our health. What would you say of the sun, early morning sun, which help the body to produce vitamin D? Early morning sun, please, not 12 midday or 1 p.m. sun. At least 15 to 20 minutes of exposure to such sunlight. Wow, it's healthy for the human body, and what have you. Okay, so let me leave that. So we'll move on. Next slide. Detoxification. Ooh. Wow. If at this point, I will even help create for you a simple detox therapy that will help you. And I will advise you, encourage you to do this every month. Take out 3 to 4 days or 3 to 5 days every month to carry out a simple detoxification process on yourself. You will love it. You will love yourself. When we talk about detoxification, we are talking about productive pooing. Pooing productively. A healthy human being, ideally, I'm using the word ideally because in our time, it's no longer realistic. A healthy human being should poo at least, ideally, 3 times in a day. Oh, glory to Jesus. 3 times in a day. But ideally, please take note of that word, ideally. Some people do twice, but let's even assume that you are struggling with the 3 times or 2 times in a day. Worst case scenario, once in a day. Anyone who does not poo at least once in a day is not healthy. Your body is not detoxifying you well. Your body is not eliminating well. That's what it means. The waste, the waste just piled up, built up, and stayed there, and begin to wreak havoc much later. So productive pooing is a part of detoxification. Productive urination. How do you even know that your wee or your urination is healthy? You check the color of your wee. If it is yellowish, very yellowish, just know that you are dehydrated. You are not taking enough water. You are not taking enough water. And then if you take enough water, at least you should urinate. That is part of the detoxification process. And then productive sweating. Productive sweating. Now, some people hardly break a sweat by reason of the nature of their work. You work in an AC office, air-conditioned office, so you hardly sweat. After work, you get into your air-conditioned car, you are not sweating. You get home, air-conditioned house, you are not sweating. If you continue that way for a number of years, you are actually trapping in toxin in your body. You are going to break that. You are going to force it. A complication, a negative ailment will build up along the line. Air condition is stale air. It's called stale air. It's actually not something that should form part of our life for a long period of time. Sometimes, if that is the case, when you get to turn off the AC, just open your window. Then do what will make you sweat. Sweating is not a cause. The story of Jesus in John chapter 4. Whoa, what a story. He and the disciples, they were baptizing at a point. He was making more disciples than that of John. And then the Pharisees started raising issue. Oh, Jesus is making more disciples. Jesus didn't want any trouble. He withdrew. And the Bible said Jesus must need pass through Samaria. He was on his way to Galilee. It was a journey. He trekked. Now when he got to the well, he got there at about noon. Studies show that he embarked on that journey at about maybe 6 a.m. It was about 6 hours of trekking. Studies show that he covered about 30.4 miles or thereabout. That's about 40 point something kilometers on foot. Now, if you read that account very well, the Bible says when Jesus got there, he was weary, he was tired from his journey, and he needed to rest. Now, for somebody to walk that distance, he's going to sweat. So Jesus sweated. He eliminated waste. For Jesus to have trekked that distance, Jesus exercised. So exercise was in view. Detoxification by sweating was in view. He got there, was tired, he rested. Rest was in view. He was thirsty, he demanded for water. And the disciple went to get him food. So you can see that ideally, the God has built detoxification into our body system. But again, because we don't really give our body what it needs to enhance the detoxification, the body begins to suffer. So how do we carry out the detoxification process in a way that is healthy? It's either you are using a tea, herbal tea, which I will just mention a few, or you are using smoothies, or you are using a vegetable juice or fruit juice. But again, when using fruit juice, be careful of sweet fruit juice. Yeah. So now let me begin with the tea. You want to carry out a detoxification process with a simple herbal tea, not complex herbal tea. For example, your lemongrass. Yoruba call that a way tea. Yes, lemongrass is a powerful detoxifier. It strengthens your colon to eliminate its waste. It energizes your kidney and your liver to eliminate waste. It helps your blood to also flush out waste, and then it also has effect on your lungs too. So lemongrass combine. I will tell you how you do that. Then ginger. If you have ulcer, you may not need to try that because of the ulcer pain. Otherwise, if you have ulcer, take out the ginger. If you don't have ulcer, fantastic. Ginger. So lemongrass, ginger, and then your clove. Which other name? Yoruba call it konofuru. Sorry, sometimes I like to call this thing by their local name for people to know. I don't know what Hausa call it, but the Hausa people who sell it know it as clove anyway. It's fantastic combination. Now you can boil these, the way the Yoruba boil their agbo. Just cook your lemongrass, a bunch of lemongrass or 2 handfuls of it with a finger size of ginger, and maybe a tablespoon of your clove. So sizable quantity of water you boil. for like 5 minutes or so, allow to cool to a bearable temperature. What you have is a healthy tea. You can sweeten with honey, a tablespoon of honey. You take a glass in the morning while it is warm. My goodness, fantastic detoxifier. For some people, they even take it to work. While they are at the office in the afternoon, they take another glass. In the evening, they take another one again. Fantastic detoxifier. So I can choose to do this every month, where I take out 3 or 4 days every month. So as to just help my body eliminate waste by taking herbal tea. Now, if I'm going to do that every month, I may need to, you can choose to also add dongoyaro leaf, though it's bitter. If you cannot tolerate that, you may not need to add that. Dongoyaro leaf, fantastic, dongoyaro leaf. Then turmeric can be added to it as well, either the powder one or the fresh one, and then you boil, just boil, the way you boil your local herb called agbo and what have you. So what you have is a tea. So day 1 you take it morning and possibly night, or morning, afternoon, night. Day 2 you do the same thing. Day 3 you do the same thing. Day 4 you do the same thing. Then after another month again, mark out 3 or 4 days, you do the same thing. Before the toxic way build up to the point of wreaking havoc, you have actually eliminated them from your body, and you will feel better. Actually, you will feel better. There is a positive effect it will create in your body that you will like. That is deploying tea. Now, if you are deploying smoothie, you can, let me do a simple combination therapy for you when it comes to detoxification using smoothie. Okay, smoothie means that you are not filtering. You have a good blender, so you have sizable number of carrots, depending on how many you are. If you are the only one, maybe 3 or 4 pieces, or let's say 3 pieces of carrot. Okay, then you have any green leafy vegetable of your choice, lettuce, okay, or you can even use your cabbage. Yeah, cabbage. So let me do cabbage or lettuce with carrots, and then ginger. Yes, and then the fruit vegetable. If avocado is in season, I'm adding 1 piece of avocado, taking out the seed anyway. Remove the seed. Some call it the stone. Take it out. Okay, I'm adding that, and then cucumber. So you blend together. What you have is a fantastic smoothie. You are not filtering. Blend the quantity you can finish at a go, because preservation may be a challenge. If there's no light, it could just go bad. Okay, the quantity you can finish at a go, you do that in the morning. Very good. Now you can do that for 3 days or 4 days as well, and then you can also make it a lifestyle, because it's food you're actually taking. It will give you it will help flush out accumulated waste in your body. Then for those who cannot tolerate fiber, when you blend this, you can filter. Or if you have a juicer, then your juicer will just extract only the liquid for you, and then you drink. So it's just a simple sample anyway. So somebody else can choose to add beetroot, and what have you. So that is detoxification. So when you are taking it with fiber, of course, that is adequate fiber, enough hydration. As you take water is a detoxifier as well. I have already said it. 2 to 3 liters of water a day helps to detoxify. Then as you sweat, you are also detoxifying. All right, so next slide. Exercise. Yes, I've already done justice to this at the beginning, so I wouldn't want to really waste much time on this. Nobody is serious about being healthy who doesn't take exercise seriously. Yeah, I've explained that we are not sedentary by design. We are designed to move our body. The benefit of adequate exercise, of course: stress and weight control, blood pressure control, immunity strengthener, bone and joint strengthener, sleep enhancement, mental development, and then appetite control. The list is endless, really. Next slide. Okay, so for beginners, 20 to 30 minutes of aerobic exercise is fine, 3 to 5 times a week. And then, so if you can't really run, you can choose to walk. Just take a walk, 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking. Just ensure you are moving your body. Now, and in this part of the world, after eating food, some people just go straight to bed. After eating, you are supposed to even take a walk, like 30 minutes. Take a walk, and then don't go to bed until after 2 hours. When you eat, you don't hit the bed immediately. 2 hour maximum. No, at the least 1.5 hours before going to bed. Okay, so walking, brisk walking, jogging, running, swimming, cycling, these are all, even dancing, you know. Of course, if you are to dance, ensure you are dancing to a godly music. Glory to Jesus. Okay, then rest. The highest, the deepest, and the best form of rest is actually sleep. The highest, the deepest, and the best form of rest is sleep. Some people sleep, their sleep is shallow. Somebody can sleep for 6 hours and may not have slept productively if that sleep is not deep. And somebody may sleep 3 hours and the sleep could be very deep. Now, the person whose sleep is deep has actually slept productively. Now, one sleep cycle is about 3 hours. So a healthy human being really must not do less than 2 sleep cycles in a day. A healthy human being, not less. It can be more. 2 sleep cycles is about 6 hours. So if you do less than 2 sleep cycles in a day consistently over a period of time, you are causing a lot of havoc to your health. Number one of the things that will happen to your body, your kidney will suffer, because your kidney is the organ that actually control and regulate your blood pressure. And then the kidney is activated to regenerate itself between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. So if you are always depriving your body of sleep within that window of time, over time your blood pressure will begin to rise. And again, during sleep, some of the hormone that activate metabolism and our immune system, they are released. So if you are not sleeping well, you deprive your body of these hormones being produced. You just notice that your immunity is weak. Your metabolism is poor, and then your blood pressure is rising, and then you begin to age very fast because you are not sleeping well. If you are doing that because you need to write the exam, is understandable. At least you don't write exam forever now. After the exam, you revert back to sleeping well. Or you have a project, a deadline. Your deadline is not forever. Okay, so create time to sleep. That is the bottom line. Everything you do, is done better from the place of relaxation, from rest and recreation. Okay, next slide. Then stress control. This one I'll quickly run through because of our time. I may not be able to read them one by one. I have a picture of what this is about. Stress control. If for the person who did this, you must have noticed where I wrote, is it 10R or stress control? So I will jump straight to that. It will help us understand what I'm about to say. Yeah, good. Thank you. Yes, 10R of stress control. Now, we cannot eliminate stress completely. In fact, we need a measure of stress to survive in life. Oh, yes, we need a measure of stress. But when it's out of control, that is when it should begin to affect our health. Now, one of the things, when it comes to controlling your stress, the first thing is to recognize what is stressing you. For some people, is it your job that is stressing you? First, recognize it. Don't live in denial. It is well, it's good. Faith does not deny reality. What faith does is that faith recognizes reality and look for a way to deal with that reality if that reality is not the kind of reality you desire. To recognize what is stressing. Is it your job that is stressing you? Recognize it. Is it your husband that is stressing you? Recognize it. Is it your wife that is stressing you? Recognize it. Is it a friend that is stressing you? Recognize it. Whatever is stressing you, recognize it. That's the first thing. Is it financial? Your finance, no money, you are not earning enough, so you're under stress. Recognize what is stressing you. Number two, after recognizing it, the next thing is to remove. You'll be wanting to remove what? Now, there are some things you can remove. It's either you remove yourself or you remove what is stressing you. If, for example, what is stressing you is a friend, friendship is not by force. You can easily remove yourself, detach. Oh, hello, it ends there to avoid the stress. Now, if it's your boss that is stressing you, if the stress is not affecting your Christian faith, and it's not affecting your health. This is what I mean. If the man is not making sexual advances, if you are a lady, he's not putting sexual pressure on you, maybe just the way he talks to you, you don't like it, there's nothing you do that pleases him, that one you have to just learn to manage it. But where you are under pressure to compromise, either to sign a check or to sign a document that will compromise your faith, in that regard, remove yourself. I know of a Christian brother, then he was working with a bank, and then a chartered accountant, and the top management needed him to adjust a figure. There was a dirty deal they got involved in, and they told him, if you can adjust it, certain millions will go into his account. And he told them he won't do that because of his Christian faith. It then means he must be ready and willing to resign. Otherwise, he will be in trouble. That was how the brother humbly resigned and took a walk. Because that was going to stress not just his mind, that was going to stress his Christian faith. So, whatever is stressing you, the ones you can remove yourself from, remove yourself from. If it's your husband, of course, you cannot remove yourself from your husband, except there's a threat to life. Yeah. If there's a threat to life, we are not saying you should divorce, but hey, you can just separate for a while so that nobody kill you in marriage. The same thing, vice versa. If it's your husband or your wife that is stressing you, as long as there is no threat to life, we are not saying you should remove. That one you can't remove yourself. If it's your children that are stressing you, of course you can't remove yourself, you know, and what have you. So the one that is within your control, you remove yourself from it. Now, the ones that you can't remove yourself from, the next point says recondition. Anyone you cannot change, recondition your mind to live with it, trusting God that God will intervene for you. You can't take a walk from your marriage except there's a threat to life. You cannot just resign except you are being compelled to compromise. And if you must, and then if it is the fact that the job, you get back home late every day and it's beginning to affect your health, sometimes you could be advised to resign on the advice of a doctor. Yeah, I know of somebody, he works on the island, he lives at Songo, where we are here in Lagos. He drives himself daily. Every day he does that for a number of years. So one of those days after work, he was to drive home, he was so tired. And then on the steering, he just felt really relaxing. That was how he slept off and died. Following day, it was his dead body. It was the sister that was telling me the story. Accumulated stress. In that case, such a person can remove himself from such work before the work kills him or kills her. But where you cannot, you recondition your mind to live with it. Number 4 is to refuse. When we say refuse, now you don't make yourself a dumping ground. Everything, people are dumping their concern, their needs on you. I need 20,000 there. You are the Father Christmas, Mother Christmas. You are not comfortable with it. Oh, you don't know how to say no. You will just stress yourself unnecessarily. So a colleague has his own task, you have your own task. Because you are good at it, they are dumping their work on you, and you are just saying, yes, sir, yes, ma. At least you can politely say no. My table are filled with a lot of tasks. Sorry, I may not be able to attend to that. It's not all needs that you attend to. Anything you attend to that is going to stress you unduly, learn to say no to it. Learn to politely tell people no. I would have loved to do this, but I'm so sorry, brother. I'm so sorry, sister. My hands are tied. It's not within what I can do for now. Learn to say no. Then restructure. To restructure is to restructure your life. Restructure your time. Yeah. Look at how you utilize your time. If you are being stressed, is it that you are not managing your time well? That's why you are not managing the stress well. You look into your schedule and reorder your schedule in such a way that it will not so much affect you in a negative way. Then release. To release is to let go, to forgive. People will hurt you. As long as you are in this world, people will hurt you. Jesus said offense will come. So if you are not ready to be offended, then you are not ready to be a human being. Oh my goodness. People will offend you. So what should be our approach? Learn to forgive. Let go. It may be painful, just let go. Where is difficult, Holy Spirit, help me here. Learn to forgive. Then relate. In this terrestrial world, God is going to use human beings at every point to be a blessing to us. So we must learn how to relate with people. Learn how to talk to people with respect. Learn how to relate with people lower than you, people at the same level with you, and people higher than you. Learn, even in correcting people, learn how to do that with regard. Learn how to do that with regard. In correcting people, you want to correct the deed. Don't destroy the person's how do I call it, morale. The person has done something, or you can correct him. Correct the deed. Don't kill the person. Because you are dealing with human. In human relationship, there are ways we talk. You don't talk down on people. In human relationship, there are ways we interact. People have mastered the act of relationship, act of interaction, usually are hardly stranded in life. Yeah. So learn to relate. Then Ron here speaks of exercise. We have spoken a lot on exercise. Exercising helps to actually manage stress. Helps you to sleep well. Then rest. We have talked about rest. And then relax. And I don't want to go beyond that. Relax. Look for what outside your usual tedious, mentally demanding tasks. Look for other things that can relax you. You can do without struggle, you can do without taxing your mind, that just take your mind off serious tasks. For some people, maybe certain games, on their phone. For some people, they watch certain movie. For some people, they play with their children. For some people, they take a walk. Just look for what takes your mind off serious tasks as a way of relaxation. Okay, so that is the 10R. Let's see any other thing after this. Yes, supplementation. Yeah, fantastic. Now, why do I bring in supplementation? Now, no matter how we eat natural food and all of those, so most of our food really are chemically grown, fertilizer, so the nutrient values have really dropped. In as much as I'm encouraging food from the farm, most of the food from our farm, they are grown with fertilizer. Some are genetically modified. So what do we do? Not that they are bad, but their nutrient value is not as high compared to the way it used to be. So supplement can help to augment for that gap. There are healthy supplements we can actually go for. We have some of them in herbal form. You must have seen ginger as supplements, or you get the raw ginger yourself. But for those who want to really get supplement, there are ginger supplement, garlic supplement, turmeric supplement, cinnamon and rosemary supplement. Then your multivitamin. In fact, you can get multivitamins and mineral supplement. These vitamin A, B, C, D, E, they are actually captured in a singular multivitamin supplement. Then sometimes you have your magnesium, calcium, zinc as a supplement, selenium as a supplement. Now then you have your fatty acid, your fish oil, krill oil, omega-3, and then your amino acid like glutathione. Now let me create a list of healthy supplements for any healthy human being. Anybody can take this. Number one on your list, you should have a multivitamins and mineral supplement. Number two, your omega-3 or your fish oil is a healthy supplement for anyone. Omega-3 fish oil, healthy supplement for anyone. Number three, any antioxidant supplement like high strength vitamin C, 1000 milligram. High strength vitamin C, 1000 milligram, or your glutathione is also an antioxidant supplement, or your alpha lipoic acid. Some of these things might be strange to some of us, but again, when you get to where they sell supplement, you ask for these, they are readily available. Okay, and then so that is that. I think I've picked from all of these lists your multivitamin, your fish oil, and any of your antioxidants. Then the last of this is your screening. Screening here simply is go for medical checkup. It is not a sin to go for a medical checkup. I hear people give testimony in church. I'm not against such. Glory to Jesus. For the past 20 years, I have not done medical checkup. I'm hale and hearty. That you go for medical checkup, it does not mean you have actually seen. In fact, you have helped yourself a great deal. You're able to detect if any organ is failing and know what to do on time. Funnily, some people, they never know that they were not well until they got married. They got married and then child is not coming forth. They now went for tests. In the course of going for the test, they realized that they have infection. But this is a test that any healthy human being would have done. Your blood pressure, check your blood pressure, your blood sugar. These are simple, basic stuff you can actually do. For men, as you age, your prostate antigen to know whether you have a prostate enlargement or your prostate is healthy, and what have you. Then some people even do comprehensive tests. Some do that twice in a year. But for those who can't afford that, really the basic one, your blood sugar test, your cholesterol, that is lipid profile test, your blood sugar, and then even hepatitis, yes, hepatitis test, and which other one again? By the time you even do your abdominal pelvis scan, it helps you to know the state of your kidney, your liver, and your bowel. Yeah. So these are some of the tests that you can actually run. Any healthy human being is advised to run tests periodically. I think I will bring this to an end here and allow us to ask questions or contribution or comment. I want to believe we have learned something today. God bless us real good. What a time. We have really stretched to 10.
Wow. I don't know what to say. But man, I am enlightened. I don't know. I'm lost for words. Please, members in the house, can you unmute your mic and first of all appreciate Mr. Daniel for compressing this into just 1 hour 30 minutes. 1 hour 30 minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Wow.
So, any questions? I mean, I have a lot of questions though that I started taking note of when we're speaking. But does anyone have any question? Please, you have the mic. Unmute your mic and ask your question, please. If you have any question, please unmute your mic and ask your questions. In 5. Okay, someone is unmuting.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
We are very grateful for taking us through these lectures. In the course of the lecture, there is something you mentioned that caught my attention. You said eating the chaff of rice, the chaff of what do they call it, coconut and tiger nut. He said it aid digestion also, that is needed as fiber. I don't know. I wanted to ask, is it not harmful to the body? Is it not harmful to the body? Yeah.
Wow, okay. Can I respond? Okay. Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Now,
yes, please. Respond, sir.
All right. Yeah. Do you know that people actually package the chaff of tiger nut and sell as fiber? The chaff of coconut is being packaged and is being sold as fiber in the market. Now, I'm not saying you eat it directly. When you want to do your swallow, like your amala, at the point of doing your swallow, you add it to it. It increases the fiber of that swallow. It's a super healthy meal, super healthy. It's not that you take even the tiger nut, people chew and swallow it now. Is that not fiber? The coconut, people chew the coconut and swallow both the chaff and everything. It's also fiber, But we are saying that when you are making your coconut milk, a lot of people discard that fiber, that chaff. They throw it away. You are throwing away nutrients. You are throwing away fiber. You can actually dry those stuff. Some dry them, even grind them. If you are not even grinding, you can actually add it to your swallow. At the point of preparing your swallow, you add it to it, turn it and prepare. It gives you a fantastic, and that is good for people who are managing blood sugar, that is diabetes. Because diabetic patient, they don't need any food to sit in their tummy for long. You need the fiber to help evacuate your system. You know, so it's not poison, my big brother. It is food. Okay, I don't know if I've answered that, sir.
Okay, you have answered it. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, any other question? Please unmute your mic and ask. Any other question? Please unmute your mic and ask. No one has any questions? In 5, in 4, in 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Let me ask this question, sir. When we're talking about food, okay, so let me speak about food generally, because that's where this question was noted down when you were speaking. Let me not say most of us, a couple of us in the family, right, range between 35-40 to 55-60, right? It would have been good if, I don't know, maybe some of us knew these things before now, but imagine some of us are just getting to know this now. Depending on the age, is it too late to adopt this lifestyle? As some people, if we adopt this lifestyle now, does it perform a regenerative or a corrective, what do you call it? Corrective measure to what we must have done to ourselves? Like we'll be taking caffeine, we'll be taking sweet things, we'll be eating all those things you said we should minimize or avoid. If that has been our lifestyle, long period, is it too late to adopt this lifestyle? That's one question. Number 2.
Okay.
There were a lot of things that you mentioned. Considering the economy that we are in, the cost of some of these things are ridiculously on the high side. 1. 2, availability of some of these things. I know my father, who's close to being an octogenarian, has to what do you call it? Get a particular kind of millet. I've forgotten the name. From the north.
The wheat.
Not wheat. Not wheat.
Okay, that is
a right. He has to. But there was a time when I think was it one of the strategic congress or another that he had to tell one of these state overseers to help him bring a bag or something, right? It's not readily. You can't readily get it somewhat, right? Because it's also very. He's taking his health seriously. He's doing most of the things you mentioned are the things that he does.
Wow.
Like exercising every day, 30 minutes to 40 minutes of brisk walk, right?
Wow.
Every day. So I'm like, the question is the cost of these things and the availability. Does that not also serve as an hindrance to getting some of these things? Those are my 2 questions. And there was one you mentioned about water. I don't know if you know of this brand. It's called Pocari.
Okay, Pocari.
Is an ion supply drink or so. Is it ION supply drink? Right.
Okay.
I used to cycle weekends and all that. And then rather than take water, I would just take a bottle of that Pocari Sweat or it's called Pocari Sweat or Pocari Ion Supply, whatever. Right.
Okay.
But it's expensive.
Yes, such waters are expensive.
It's expensive, right? How do we now get these things? Considering cost, considering availability, and all that. Please, I don't know if you've got all my questions. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I got them well. Yeah, let me start with the first one, which has to do. Is it late now that we are discovering this at
Yes,
this
please.
age? It's not late. The reason why it's not late is the human body is a self-healing machine, particularly when it is given what it needs adequately and consistently. I'm careful with the use of words here. Whatever you give the body must be adequate, and it must be given to it consistently for you to see the positive effect. In fact, a lot of people call me of different ages, different ages, 40, 50, 60, even 70. In fact, there was a man in his 70 who had battled with diabetes almost all his life, to the point that he was so weak he can't walk even short distance. He will start feeling pains everywhere. And then somebody directed him to me. What I just did, I placed him on a natural therapy, and I advised him to make dietary adjustment for like a month or so. Within that window of time, the man regained his energy back. That is how wonderful the human body is. His blood pressure, his blood sugar stabilized. His energy was regained. The pains he used to feel disappeared. Now, the only challenge people might have now is this kind of lifestyle is strange to them. So how disciplined would they now be now? For you now to unlearn what you know to eat before and now relearn a new lifestyle. Some people struggle with that. It is never late for anyone to do this. In fact, now at any point you have discovered the better, really, it will help you to begin to adjust and then begin to correct certain things in your body that you are not even aware of. For some, in the course of making lifestyle adjustments, there are some hidden ailments in your body that get corrected that you are not aware of. So also a lady, I was privileged to handle her case. She was battling with high blood pressure, battling with arthritis, battling with, she was having fibroid, a complication of different stuff, always in the hospital. And then she called, and then I told her, okay, do this test. I told her, I'm going to place you on a nutritional adjustment, lifestyle adjustment for 2 months. She thought I was going to sell to her products that will help her heal. I said, no, I will just send you a therapy that you follow for 2 months. After 2 months, we evaluate your health. Within the 2 months, the blood pressure stabilized. Within the 2 months, the weakness you used to feel disappeared. Within the 2 months, the pains at the joint disappeared. And then I told her when she's done, she should go and run another test to see the level of the fibroid. The fibroid had reduced. It wasn't growing, at least it has reduced to a particular level by just making dietary adjustment for 2 months. The body is a self-healing machine when it is given what it needs adequately and consistently. So that is that. Now, the second question, which has to do with is it the availability of this thing we talk about, availability and cost? Yes. Now, sometimes we may think that
Cost
these
and
things are
availability.
cost and availability. Yes, cost and availability. Sometimes,
Yes.
yeah. Now, let me begin with the cost. Sometimes we feel that these things are expensive. But from study research, I've come to realize that they are not really, really expensive. And I'll paint I'll paint pictures, clear picture and scenario that will help you understand what I mean. And I asked this question in a particular gathering where somebody raised the same question that they are expensive. And I asked a question: how much is on the average a loaf of bread? The amount they told me there and now cannot be the same. I don't even know how much. Okay, a particular loaf of bread in my area here, the big one is about 1,003, 1,004, between 1,3 and 1,5. That's a loaf of bread. Now, how much is a bottle of malt? Truly, I don't have any idea because I hardly buy it. Now, how much is a tin of milk? Now, compare that amount with how much a piece of cucumber is, how much few pieces of ginger could cost, how much a wrap of clove, that's the way they wrap the stuff, how much it costs, how much your cabbage costs. When you compare this, you will even discover that these other factory produced food from the factory, are actually more expensive when it comes to these ones I've mentioned. But do you know these ones I've mentioned are the basic foundational thing that you can actually use to rejig your health? Where you get cucumber, get carrots, you don't necessarily have to get several, even if it is 3. Then any green leafy vegetable within your environment, you get that with your carrots, with your maybe cucumber, you blend. What you have is a smoothie. Then compared to, so if a loaf of bread in my area is 1,005, with 1,005 I can actually get some of these things. And what have you. Now, then there are some that are expensive. So now you are not going to start with the expensive one. You start with the least expensive one that can still help you achieve good health. That is the starting point, really. Now, if I had to look at the expensive one, you're not talking about some of maybe the flaxseed, which are ready. Flaxseed is not really readily available everywhere. Though I know where to get flaxseed in Lagos here, but other states I can't really tell. That is where the challenge is. Flaxseed is not readily available. Pumpkin seed is not readily available. Sesame seed, some don't even know how it looks like and what have you. But can one get healthy alternative to these things? Yes. So where I can't find this seed, can I leverage on the grain, the healthy grain? Now you talk about acha, fonio. Where acha and fonio is not available, can I leverage on another kind of millet? Another kind of grain that is healthy. So you have your millet, you have your sorghum and what have you. You can leverage on, so call it alternatives that are healthy. But again, this will take time. It will require research. Because as a starter, you may not really know where to get this. With time, as you begin to do research, begin to find out. Sometimes if you go online and you Google where to get this, you even get some places online where they sell them. Some they give room for you to place order for them, and then it makes it very easy for you, really. So the world has been reduced to a global village where many of these things are sold online now. You can place order for them, by just making your research. Where can I get this? Where can I Google fonio one time? I was surprised. I saw fonio being packaged. They call it acha. I used to eat it when I was in the north. I schooled in the north then. It was a roommate that introduced me to it. And I learned it's very good for diabetic patients, and is very rich in protein. Among the grain family, is one of the most proteinous, in terms of nutrient. So I think it's about finding of where to get them. That could be the challenge, and it's worth doing, because if we say because they are not readily available, then we leave our life to chance. What will happen to us? We may not like it. For example, you go to a hospital, you are not feeling fine, a doctor recommend a particular drug, and that is the drug you need for your recovery. You will do everything to look for it. In the same way, that same approach, we should do everything to research and look for whatever will enhance healthy living. It's my take anyway. We could have different view on this. I wouldn't know if I've relatively answered your question to a point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Then
sir.
the water I talked about, that
Okay,
iron.
yes.
I don't know if you.
Yes. We have ionized water. I think that water should be an ionized water. Yes. Now that is expensive. That might be a challenge for a lot of people. So what are the other substitutes? Because the idea there is that the pH of the water to be taken shouldn't be less than 7. What is approved by NAFDAC and World Health Organization is 7, which is neutral. Neutral means it is not acidic, it's not alkaline, so it won't harm you. Yeah, it will not harm you. So that is the basic. So you can now begin to explore other alternatives. For example, now I mentioned some brand of water, that at least they're able to meet up with the standard. Eva, I don't know how readily available Eva is, but Eva is more available than Cascade. Swan water, I don't know how readily available is. Then which other one again? There's some people, what they do is they try
What
to
about Nestle? Nestle.
less what?
Nestle. Is it Nestle they call
Okay,
it?
Nestle. Okay. Yes, Nestle. Yeah, Nestle water is another one. Yes, Nestle. Yes, it's another one. I think the pH is within 7. And what have you. So then it's just that their pH, they may not be as alkaline as that ion you talk about, that ionized one you talk about. That's why that one is highly expensive. But again, it doesn't have to be highly alkalized before you go for it. As long as you have this one that fall within the standard, you can utilize them. In developed world, these things are not really a big issue because their water actually meet up with the required standard. So you don't see anybody try to advocate alkaline water, alkalized water, because most of their water are actually met the required standard. But what some people do is they try to alkalize their water, but those again, alkalizing agents are expensive. For example, that's what they call alkaline salt. It's in powder form, very expensive. How many people can really afford that? Now, some use lemon to alkalize their water. But again, when you use lemon, squeezing lemon into your water to drink, when you do that over a period of time, for a long period of time, you begin to lose weight. Yeah, except you want to start losing weight. So you can't really use that for a long period of time. So instead of that, just leverage on the common one that have met with the standards that are within your reach and then take advantage of them. That is what I will advise for that. But if you can afford those other one, there is this other one, ionizing machine people buy. Again, they are expensive. Where you just pour in your water, it alkalizes and ionizes it for you. Then there is this other one that is small. The local name people call it, I don't know if you've heard of the word magic cup. I don't know why they call it magic cup. Yeah, it's actually an alkalizing device. It alkalizes and ionizes. You use it for a number of years before it starts failing. But again, if you must do that, you must have a pH tester to test your water periodically to be sure that it's not failing. So at least for anybody who can afford that, that is fine. All you just need to do is pour the water you want to drink into it. It alkalizes it for you, and then good to go. But where that is not affordable, then make do with some of the water that have been able to meet up with the required standard, and then you move on from there.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Any other questions? Anyone has any other question? We are over 15 people here, and it's surprising that people don't have questions. Well, I guess that's to tell that you took your session well. They all understood everything. Okay, so a question just dropped. Are we naturally created to be vegetarians? I think he answered it when he started. Are we naturally created to be vegetarian, or we can decide to be on our own? I think he started when he was speaking at the beginning.
Yes. Naturally, from the beginning, I said later things change, and I explained why things change. Naturally, God actually created humanity to be vegetarians, naturally, but it has changed because God himself changed it. So that was why I said, who am I to enforce vegetarian on anybody now? Now, there are different names. Now, people adopt what is workable for them. For me, I am not a vegetarian. I don't call myself a vegetarian because I eat fish. And then sometimes I eat chicken, I do less of the red of the beef, So I call myself an Icalarian. Icalarian is somebody who is mindful of the pH of the food he eats. Most of the food I eat, I ensure that there are food that are tending towards food that are more alkaline than acidic. So that helped me to live a healthy life. So I don't call myself a vegetarian, but again, it's a choice. If you want to be a vegetarian, you can be a vegetarian. If you want to be a vegan, because there is a vegetarian that is vegan, there are different names they give to them, really. There are those that eat strictly plant-based. There are those that eat plant-based and also eat dairy. There are those that eat plant-based and also eat poultry. There are those that don't even eat poultry at all. They do all manner of stuff, really. But I had to come to a balance where I just told myself, hey, if you go strictly vegetarian, the disadvantage is this: vitamin B12 is found more in animal protein, and it is less in plant-based food. So if you must go strictly vegetarian, then you must have vitamin B12 supplements to augment for that deficiency in plant-based food. Otherwise, you'll be deficient in B12 and you begin to have health challenge along the line. So people who are strict vegetarians, they get supplement that cover up for those things they can't get in animal products, since they don't eat animal flesh. So whichever way you want to go, just ensure that you are making informed decision. You are not harming yourself. The balance again for me is 80% should be your naturally based food. 20%, if you want to indulge, don't go outside 20%. And how do you calculate that? Sorry, I forgot to explain that calculation so that people don't also abuse it. When we say 20%, for example, if you eat 3 times a day, although I'm discouraging that, you can do 2, but let's assume that you eat 3 times a day. Okay, 7 days in a week, 3 times a day. 3 times 7, that is 21. So you eat 21 times a week. Now, 20% of 21 gives us like 4 point something. So if you round that off to the nearest whole number, that gives us 4. It then means that 4 times in a week, okay, you can indulge in this other food from the factory. Okay, but in moderation, because when we say 4 times, somebody can choose to eat it in large volume in the name of 4 times. The first time is large, second time large, third time large, fourth time large. You are harming yourself. Do that in moderation. Now, why the remaining 80% should come from your plant-based food? With that, you maintain a healthy balance. But strictly vegetarian is a choice. Yeah. So originally man was created a vegetarian, but along the line, after the fall, God had to adjust it for the singular reason I point to. The age of man will need to drop, and God will have to allow man to eat what man was not designed originally to eat. And that is how we got to where we are. So what landed man in trouble in the garden was food. Man ate what he shouldn't eat. And that is the beginning. And then food was also used to reduce the lifespan of man. And as we speak, man is still being affected by the kind of food man he eats. So I leave it to you to decide whether you want to be a strict vegetarian or
all right, thank you very much, sir.
Or you just do a blend that is comfortable with your lifestyle.
More like hybrid.
Or a hybrid, yes.
Someone says
where you do. Okay.
Okay, someone says, what can you say about the fertilizers applied to vegetables we consume? I think you spoke about that, but
yes, I talked about that. That's why I said we may need to get supplements. Yes, because we don't have control over that. Again, and it's good you raised that. Now, that fertilizers are used to grow those crops does not mean that those crops or those food don't have nutrients. What happens is that the nutrient value drop. Now, the way God designed plants, anything that enhances the quick growth of a plant reduces the nutrient value. Plants are not designed, certain plants are not designed to grow that fast. So if you allow them to grow naturally, the nutrient will be intact. But when you fast track their growth, you see those plants looking big, looking fresh, but very low in nutrients. So what we do is, if I say buy supplement, how many can really afford supplements? Some of these supplements are expensive. So what I advise people to do again is this: if you are making your smoothie, you can combine up to like 4 of this category of vegetable I've talked about. Instead of doing 1 or 2, you can combine like 4. I take beetroot, take carrots, take cabbage, take cucumber, take avocado, 4 or 5. I've combined that. Now, they may have grown the carrot with fertilizer. At least it starts some nutrients. I'm taking advantage of the little from carrot, advantage of the little from cabbage, advantage of the little from cucumber, advantage of the little from avocado. By the time all of these little come together as smoothie, they are forming something significant, that will enhance your health. Except if you are just doing just one, then you are undertaking the nutrients. So you can combine like 4 or 5. That helps you now to be able to build up the nutrient value by reason of combination. But for those who can afford supplements, it's a fantastic thing to do. In fact, most of our top politicians, they don't joke with this really, maybe because they can afford it. I met a man, as I then the man was 69 years old, a professor. I was to run a training, and then he happened to be a founder of a ministry. I was to come do a training, and then I came to do a presentation. The man's skin was red, it was shining. A 69-year-old man with a shining skin. And then I asked this, I said, your dad looks young. The son just laughed. He said, my dad takes supplements. I said, no wonder. No wonder. So for those who can afford it, fantastic. For those who cannot afford it, what you may need to do is to combine 4 or 5 of these that can be eaten raw, blend them in form of smoothie or juice, and take them raw. I think, but we cannot rule out the place of this fertilizer. It's not within our control, except you have your own farm where you have to grow this yourself. Then, of course, you have control. But where you don't have your own farm, you have to make do with what is available, and then see how you can take advantage of the little nutrient here and there. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Wow. I need someone to help with the vote of thanks. Let me see who is on this call. Sister Blessing Olushaki, are you there? Blessing Olushaki.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, go ahead, please. Help us with the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone. So, on behalf of the CYC and then Team Blitz, I want to say a very big thank you for a lot of eye-opening things you have told us this night. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. God bless you, sir.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Blessing Olushaki. And Mr. Daniel, you're giving us this on the platter. We do not take it for granted. When I was reading your bio, I was like, how did we get someone like this to come speak to us without putting a cost to it? We really appreciate you, sir. So much for sharing from your wealth of knowledge. And it's evident, like you said, you can take this session without going through the slides. It was evident from the get-go. It shows that you are well-rounded. You are a very in-depth researcher. I could tell from the way you delivered the session. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate you, sir. And we pray that all that you've shared with us, all you've deposited, all your sacrifice to research, to spend time with us for almost 2 hours, if not more than, will not go unrewarded. God will bless you, and God will pay you mightily in Jesus' name. Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I really appreciate. So I think I wouldn't mind getting the slide because I love the way you package it.
I will send it to you, sir. I will send it to you, sir.
It's all right. Thanks so kindly. I really appreciate.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Once again, thanks to everyone who joined today's session. I'm sure you got value. I believe so. And we'll see you in the main house as we continue our session tomorrow. Thank you very much, sir. And I must add, okay, someone dropped a comment. Brother George Austin, yeah. Someone dropped a comment and said, I got feedback that you've been our most consistent, attendee or participant at every of our sessions. Most consistent. There is no session that we have that you do not attend. Even the one, make a no talk. But don't worry, I think we're going to discuss, or now we're going to appreciate you for that, for always stopping by. It's so encouraging, I must say. It's so encouraging that you don't have to be here, but you make it a duty to always attend our sessions. We definitely will give you an award for that. Thank you very much, Brother Austin, for gracing our platform once again. On this note, I also want to recognize the presence of one of the members of our advisory council. In fact, our Oga at the top, Bro Fred. Bro Fred, are you there? Bro Fred, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, give us a word, please.
Thank you so much for the presentation. It's been an exciting and eye-opening one. And Sir Daniel, it's I know if we have given you the entire week, each of those sections would have lasted a master class per day. But thank you for the concise approach, and we hope that one of these days we are going to have maybe a real full day of Earth talk and have you drill us the way the military will drill their troop for a battlefront. Thank you for the time, and thank you for staying this long with us, and thank you everybody who had made this section of excitement. Beyond listening, the Bible says, "Be ye doers of the word, not the hearers only are blessed, but the doers are blessed." Most of us are in our mid-30s, late 30s, and early 40s, late 40s. We want to see ourselves grow to 120 years, strong, agile. Some of these lifestyle changes will help us. I'm trusting that we'll begin to make adjustments for our good and also get our family members involved. It's not going to be easy because if we do have family support, if our wives and children do not understand this basic thing and we do not find a way to support ourselves, it could be difficult. But if we create a support system within the family, I think we will go a long way. And I think another thing we should also do, many of us are going pot belly and overweight. Let's learn to work on our weight too, so we can keep well. Thank you, Sir Daniel. Thank you, Ife, for making this happen. Thank you, The Blitz. God bless everyone.
A pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fred. And I like the fact that you touched on some things. Now, I need to re-emphasize, Mr. Daniel, over the past 2 weeks,
Yes, sir.
we've been having aerobic session every Saturday, right?
Oh,
Virtually,
beautiful.
where we have exercise like 45 to 1 hour, right?
Oh, beautiful.
Moving the body, moving this, right? So we have one, we still have another one this Saturday, right? Where members are encouraged to come. It's not easy. Most people don't exercise. So we're trying to build that culture of exercising. As I speak to you, my body still aches me from what we did on Saturday. But I know with time, it's something that we will get used to it. And then, like I said, the benefits are enormous, right? You said God made us to move and not to be set, right? So we are already practicing these things, and we hope that we will do better, as you said, and as Fred has said, we'll be doers and not just hearers alone. Thank you very much once again to everyone. We appreciate you. It's fast. The night is fast spent, so I would dismiss us, and then we can go have our night rest. Once again, thanks to everyone. Really appreciate you, and we'll see you in our next event. Thank you.